I think the Protoss are going to need a little bit more than that. They're going to need maybe some Psionic Storm, more stasis than this, because those tanks are going to be able to advance and start doing a ton of damage. And this offensive is being led by a very competent Terran versus Protoss player. Luxury is looking nervous as the cannons at the second choke of his, at the top right choke, are coming on under fire. So the Protoss bases have been split off from each other, and the Terran still has what seems to be a nice looking defensive formation, tons of mines. Where's an observer in that group? And attack and counterattack. Luxury is deciding that he's going to just ram this Protoss army right into the main base, and this is going to be dangerous because he might just get flanked and caught inside of that choke with nowhere to run. Uh-oh. Decent storms there, but that's still far too many tanks. The Protoss army is making some forward progress, but I don't think they're going to be able to do nearly enough damage before getting wiped out here. Don't think that was the right move by Luxury. And the Protoss has lost one of their expansions. The Terran push looks like it might still continue and take out a couple of more. And wait a minute. Big tech switch in progress. Carriers on the way for our Protoss team. Well, Reach, hope your carrier micro is up to it, because by the time those things are ready, you'll probably be switching in. I wonder just how extensively practiced some of these timings are. But in the meantime, that is a ton of tanks keeping on pressing. And those bases are going to be pretty boned, I think. But we might see some Arbiter carrier. We might see the Victory fleet, some cloaked carriers. Maybe, just maybe, going to be able to save this one for the Protoss here. But the Terran push is, though delayed, meeting with quite a bit of success. There we go, 10 seconds to switching. Hey, Leta taking his sweet time, making the switch, and reaches in. Recall on that 6 o'clock expansion. That's going to hurt the Terran economy a little bit, but not nearly as much as the Protoss army just got wrecked. So these carriers are going to have to do it, and the big question is, do the Terrans know that they're coming? Are they going to have enough Goliaths in time? Well, they know it's coming now because those have been revealed to kill off a vulture. Alright, here we go. 6 gate carriers. Don't know how long they'll be able to sustain that, but one more round of production, that's a dozen carriers, and that can do quite a lot of damage. But the jig is up. A lot of Goliaths already out. It looks like Charon boosters are upgraded. And the thing about carriers in this sort of situation is that they need more support units in this. They need Dragoons to engage the Goliaths while the carriers pick off the tanks, typically. That is what we would see here. So, for the moment, not enough real progress being made with these carriers. And not enough of a ground army, but that is a lot of carriers. That is going to be a fleet of a dozen, which is more than you'd see in most pro games. So that's a big upside for the Protoss. Downside for the Protoss is their economy is pretty screwed, and it's about to get worse because Great is piloting a Terran push over toward those bottom left expansions. So it's good that the Protoss have taken that island, but it is not going to be easy for them to hold this. Those carriers are not the most mobile things, so unless we see maybe a carrier recall, I don't think they're going to be able to get over there in time. And there goes that Arbiter, so much for that. Some decent storming and a decent line of Dragoons there to defend, but it's not nearly enough. Reach is going to have to get those carriers in there, and they finally arrive to shoo those Terran forces away. But there don't seem to be all that many interceptors in all of these carriers. Oh boy, that is a ton of missiles. It's just about impossible to see what's going on there, but it looks like Reach and those carriers are forced to retreat. Wow, that was a lot going on at a time. Meanwhile, Zealots pouring into that 9 o'clock expansion. Good game sense by Reach, sensing that that army was out of place. And all sorts of damage being done there. So a nice two-pronged attack, or defense and counter. Ghosts in play. Lockdown on one of those carriers. Oh my goodness, the things we only see during the All-Star game. Couple of carriers locked down. That is beautiful, but looks like they're running out of Goliath there. But a nuke silo is up. Leta said in an interview recently that he thought the way forward for Terran in the future was with ghosts. Well, let's find out just what it is he's plotting and what it is he's going to get great to execute with that nuclear silo and with these ghosts. Already really cool that we're seeing lockdown. Sea.Shield giving some Terran tactical advice to his teammate Reach here. And is that multiple nuclear silos? Alright, it's time to switch again, and this is not the best position for Reach to be tagging out, doing some highly technical Protoss play, but you know, you do what you can. There's the switch. Sea.Shield is back in, and hopefully he has some insight into how to deal with ghosts and nukes, because he's about to need it as Leta urges free on into this strategy. Let's see, there goes a command center being sniped off by one of these victory fleets. But it looks like these carriers might get caught. Lots of interceptors going down, and I don't know how much mineral income the Protoss have to keep building carriers, replacing carriers, replacing interceptors, and all of that. Oh, one of those lockdown carriers managed to survive that, but has gotten detached from the group. It is all alone, and it is very sad. There's some more carrier micro going on over that ridge, but that is a ton of Goliaths. And the Ghost is ready. We're not seeing the mass ghosts that we'd want to see for, you know, ridiculous lockdown on all the carriers, drop a nuke on them, but it might come to that because we're starting to see more and more ghosts coming out for Team Terran, which is pretty cool. These games have been chock full of entertainment value, and Protoss have taken both of these island bases, which so far I think is good for them. Terrans have really not committed to a big dropship strategy, and so they're not going to be able to push on them all that easily. We're starting to see some Templar now to reinforce this big air fleet, though not all that many Dragoons. I think that the Protoss are just lacking for the minerals to do that. And these ghosts are running around uncloaked. Not the greatest storms there from Sea.Shield, but I guess we can't blame him too much. Meanwhile, carriers are now on the attack. Those Goliaths, I suppose, caught a bit out of position. A lot of turrets there to defend against this, though. It's hard to tell how much progress the Protoss are going to be able to make. They do manage to take out a science facility, which will be of some help, I suppose. Ghosts now on the move. It looks like they've cloaked this time. I'd say expect those lockdowns very soon. We haven't seen any observers. There's one now. There we go. The first lockdowns are away. But they're going to need to get more lockdowns off than this, especially if they want to make these nukes useful. it does not look like it's going Team Terran's way here. It looks like there are just too many carriers on hand, and those Goliaths are going to be forced to retreat.